holy Sonic the Hedgehog, Batman. I don't know.
No, that's good. That's good. We'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. Welcome everyone to this Sonic DC. Woo.
You don't sound excited. Woo!
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is an event. This is something I've wanted for like a decade now. And now it's here, and we're talking about the first issue. It's one of those things where it's like we could just wait for it to all be over, but that'd be lame. So we're just going to talk about, we're at least going to talk about this first issue now. I imagine we'll just come back for the following issues, unless like they're bad. And then we'll just do it at the end.
Or we might like, like if it feels like, oh, this is like part 1, part 2, going forward, we might like spread them out and be like, oh, let's just wait till that part's done. It's the first issue,
Yeah. But before we get into that, I have a story I need to tell everyone.
Okay. And I've not heard the story.
Audience, yeah, he is completely blissfully unaware of this audience. So, and if you only care about Sonic and Batman, you skip ahead. You'll get there. So Ian and I were like, hey, you know what? Let's record this on the day it comes out, so that way we can get it out, relatively shortly after the issue comes out. Be kind of part of the conversation. Good fun time, right? So I wake up this morning, and I roll over and I open my phone. And I'm like, all right, I'll just buy the issue on Amazon, on like Kindle, download it, and then I'll read it at work on like my lunch break. And then, and then we'll record tonight. It'll all be good, right? And so I go and I open up Amazon, and it's not there. And I'm like, and like the trade paperback is there for pre-order, but issue 1's not there. And I'm like, okay. And so I try typing I'm like DC X Sonic or Sonic X DC, or maybe it's like Sonic X Justice League. No. And sure enough, it's just not fucking there. And so I'm like, okay. Little weird that like your big, huge crossover event you wouldn't want to have on the biggest book distributor in the world, but whatever. So then I tried going to Apple Books or whatever the fuck it's called. Mistake. Big mistake. I got on there and I was like, okay, I'll just go buy the book. And then they're like, hey, log in with your Apple ID. It's like, I don't know what that... Do you think I use these products? I don't fucking know what my Apple ID is. And then Apple's like, hey, don't worry. You can just use your phone password to reset your Apple ID. I'm like, okay, good. So I enter my phone password. The password I used to open the phone I'm using to type this. And they tell me my phone password's wrong. And I'm like, it's definitely not. And they're like, oh, you used up all your attempts. Try again later, asshole. And I'm like, okay. There's a comic book shop. Pardon?
I'm already mad.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, there's a comic book shop relatively near my apartment. I'll just go there. And I tried looking it up, right? Because when I first moved down here, there's like a couple different comic shops near my apartment. There's one that's not great. That's basically like a dusty closet. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say the walkway is about one person's length between like the desk and the long boxes. They have the new issues in the back. And again, the place is just kind of dusty. Like, it just feels like you're out. Like, even if you don't have allergies, it feels like the place is going to trigger your allergies. And then there's another one. There's like a nice place. But for some reason, when I was looking up, because I haven't been to either place in like months. So I was like, when I was looking up, like trying to get to the nice place, I couldn't find it on there. And all the comic shops I was looking at didn't open till like 11. And so I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. I'll deal with this after work. So I go to work, right? And another thing I've neglected to mention is that we had some serious thunderstorms where I live today, and so I get to work before shit hits the fan. But I'm at work, and then it's coming down pretty bad. And then it gets to about like 1-ish, and one of the perks of my job is that I have the option to work from home or from the office. I typically work in the office, but I was like, okay, right now the weather's calmed down. It says there's going to be like a tornado watch later. So right now I'll just like take my lunch break. I'll run back to my apartment. I'll swing by the comic shop on the way. So that way, I'm at my apartment to sit out the weather, and I've got the comic. So we're all good, right? And so I go out into the parking lot, and my car just has like some mud on it for some reason. Like, And when I say mud, it's not like caked in mud, but there's like a dusting of mud on there, you know?
Yeah.
And I can only assume it's because I parked near some grass and the rain came down and maybe like splashed the mud. I don't know, but it was on the guy's car next to mine. So I don't know. So I didn't get to work with this mud on it because I got there. I was like, was my car muddy before like this morning? No, the mud just appeared. But I'm like, you know what? It's going to rain. It said it was supposed to start raining at like 2, and I was left the office at like 1:15. So you know, it's going to start raining soon. It'll clean my car off. No problem. No sooner. I must have been driving for like 30 seconds and it starts raining. And I'm like, okay. I was kind of trying to leave the office to avoid this, but okay, whatever. So, you know, I'm driving and it starts raining. And no sooner do I like make the first corner that a lightning bolt just comes down and just splits the sky in twain. And then it just starts pouring. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's just try and not kill ourselves on the way to this stupid fucking comic shop. Because, you know, I put it in my GPS. I'm like, all right, I think this was the good one. And so I start going there. And I'm driving, pretty uneventful drive. Again, just trying to not like hydroplane and kill myself.
All for Sonic.
Yeah, all for Sonic. And I get there. And eventually I realize, once I get there, because I'm very stupid. Oh, no, it's taking me to the bad comic shop. It took me to the dusty closet. And then I get there, and there's nowhere to park. There's like no, because there's not like a parking lot. It's a comic shop. So you just have to park on the road. But you can't park on the side of the road of the shop. And on the other side, all the parking's taken up. And so in this moment, I'm like, and then I just drive past it. I'm like, God damn it. So then I have to take like a series of left turns. It's still pouring rain, by the way. Audience, I need you to understand this. I have to take like a series of left turns to get back here. Park illegally. Park in the spot that is literally walled off by 2 no parking here signs. Oh, and then, you know, get my umbrella. Thankfully, I always carry an umbrella. And, you know, wait for the traffic to stop so I can walk across the street to go to this fucking place. And so I get in there. It's just as awful as the first time I went there a few months ago, just as dusty and claustrophobic. And I go up there and I'm like, hey, and I'm like, where are your new releases? It's like, oh, they're just laid out on top of the long boxes, just unbagged and unboarded, just out there. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, yep.
And he's like, oh, is there anything you're looking for? I was just looking for Sonic X Justice League or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, it's right there. You know, I think that's actually our last copy. And when I tell you that means there's a timeline not far off from ours where I got there and he went, oh, actually, we just sold our last copy. And if that happened, I would have set this place on fire. But so I'm like, okay, cool. So I go over, I grab the comic, again, unbagged and unboarded. And I'm like, all right. And I just stand there. And this guy's like on his phone, like looking at like eBay or whatever. And I'm just standing there. And then eventually he looks at me and he goes, oh, are you done? And I'm like, yes, I came here for one thing. I asked you for one thing. And I got the one thing. And you. And he's like,
you helped me. Now
Pardon?
To seal the deal.
Yeah. And I was like, and I'm like, hey, can I get a bag and board for this thing too? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, no worries. And he's like, he goes, well, I can bag it for free, but the board's gonna be extra. Oh, and I look at this man, and I was just so, I couldn't process what he had just said to me. I'm like, what do you mean? Because like it's been a minute since I've like shopped for like new comics at a comic shop. You know, again, I usually get them online. But what do you mean the board? But by the time he says this, he's already putting the board in. He's like, yeah, that'll be like $5. I'm like, okay. And so I pay the man for my comic. And then, you know what? Just to add insult to injury, I give him my card, right? And he's like tapping my card against like his phone, but against like the back of his phone. He's like, oh, it's got this weird card reader thing on it. I'm like, sure, man, I guess. Like, and then he's like, would you like a bag? I'm like, yes, I would like. It's right. Yes, no, it's pouring rain outside. But by all means, just give me the comic. You know what? I'll just open the comic up and hold it over my head as an umbrella while it's raining. You fucking piece of shit, idiot. But so thankfully, I also had a backpack, so the comic was like double bagged. It was in the bag and board, and then it was in the like shitty like grocery bag he put it in. Then it was in my backpack. So the comic was secured, and also again, like I said, I had an umbrella. So I go out, and when I looked at the door for a second, I didn't see my car. And again, I parked in a no parking zone, so it was just like no fucking way. There's no fucking way my car already got towed.
Day of all days in the middle of the rain, the cops decided to do their jobs and tow me.
I know, right? But like, so I go out there, I got my umbrella, and I shit you not, this is not a joke, audience. While I'm waiting for the traffic to stop so I can cross the street and get in my car, the fucking thing from the movies where a car like drives through a puddle and splashes it up on you actually happened to me. That is a real thing that happened to me in my real life.
That's amazing.
So
how did
then
you?
I go, I get in my car.
You not explode?
But so I go, I get in my car, I drive back to my apartment. And you know, I go upstairs into my apartment. I open my work. Keep in mind, I had to go back to work after this. I had to keep doing my job. I open up my work laptop, and not like it couldn't have been more than like 15 minutes later. The rain just ceases completely. The clouds part as if God himself is telling me to go fuck myself. Like and it hasn't rained a fucking drop since. So
this is amazing. This is a more compelling story than issue 1 of DC X IDW Sonic.
I just fucking like this like all because Amazon didn't have the fucking comic on it.
Yeah, that is so weird. I don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And so now, audience, you might be thinking that I'm probably thinking, you know, I went through all that bullshit. This had better be worth it. And was it worth it? Yes. Full disclosure, I loved this.
Heck yeah, let's talk about it.
It's great. All right, yeah, let's talk about it. We open up. And now I guess I should also say, audience, I've read quite a bit of DC comics. I like DC comics. I am by no means an expert. And however much of not an expert I am, Ian's even less of an expert. So Indeed. Like, if we get something wrong or if we don't know something, please don't yell at us.
Please correct us in the comments. It feeds engagement.
Well, you know, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, yell at us. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so we open up. And also, it's funny. I realized as I was reading this, oh, this is not a this is basically just this is a Sonic comic featuring DC characters. This is not really a crossover per se. Yeah. Probably because, you know, if you're a Sonic fan but you don't really like DC, you'll probably pick this up for the novelty. If you're a DC fan and you don't care about Sonic, you're not gonna fucking read this.
Yeah.
So that was just a funny realization I had. But anyway, we open up on Earth, Sonic's dimension. It's funny because they stopped calling it Sonic's world. It's just Earth now.
Heck yeah.
I welcome with open arms.
Yeah, name it something. It doesn't have to be Mobius. It's fine if it's just Earth.
Yeah, it could be Earth. Where Darkseid's big head comes through a portal. Some parademons come down. I forget if they call this Darkseid head anything.
It's called a Ragnarok, which is an amazing name if Flynn made that up.
That's a pretty good name.
It sounds very DC, like a boom tube and stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, anyway, they're, you know,
obviously it's supposed to be like a Death Egg equivalent, right?
I assume so.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a thing that exists.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny if it was, though. Anyway, but so the parademons come down. Parademons being, I guess I didn't realize the people might be listening to this who don't know anything about DC. Okay, so Darkseid is like a big evil spaceman who has a big evil planet in DC, and parademons are like his minions. All right, now you're all caught up. So they start, the Sonic, Amy, and Tails start fighting the parademons, and they're like, all right, we gotta go do stuff. Meanwhile, Angel Island, the parademons are going down, and Darkseid and his little flunky Desaad are looking at Knuckles and the Master Emerald on the Father Box. And I've definitely heard of the Father Box before. I cannot for the life of me remember what it does, though. But right now, what it does is let Darkseid see the Master Emerald. So
yeah, right now it's a big computer.
It's a big computer. And they're like, so we find out that Darkseid wants the Chaos Emeralds. So because the Master Emerald can neutralize the Chaos Emeralds, they're going to destroy it. And they do. But before Knuckles can be destroyed along with the Master Emerald, a mysterious blue and red streak. A blue streak speeds by.
Dude, Sonic got there that fast? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the it's funny. I totally fell for this. Is the funny thing because I assume you're supposed to think it's Sonic. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember being confused on the next page when we see Sonic with Amy and Tails, and I was like, oh, it's Superman. Spoilers. But anyway, so we get to Sunset City, and Sonic runs ahead, and he meets none other than the Flash. And Flash and Sonic's banter in this is wonderful. I think this is Wally West Flash. I believe Wally is Flash currently in DC. Also, he's got the white eyes, and I don't think Barry has ever had those, unless you count Young Justice. And also his attitude is much more Wally West. So, audience, if you don't know DC, Wally West was the third Flash protege of Barry Allen, the second Flash. And he's known for having a bit more of a jovial attitude than Barry Allen, which is why I'm saying the things I'm saying. Anyway, also makes a lot more sense for him to be the Flash who teams up with Sonic.
Well, thank you, because I didn't know that. So...
you didn't watch Young Justice?
No.
Really?
I watched like season 1 when it came out.
That's a good show. Anyway, well, you see, even Ian learned something. But regardless, so Sonic and Flash basically proceed to have a dick measuring contest, where Flash is like, "Oh, you can't keep up with me," and Sonic's like, "Actually, it is you who cannot keep up with me." The exchange they have is, "I'm the Flash. I'm speed personified," and then Sonic goes, "Then I'm speed perfected." And there's a great panel of them like running together. It's super cool. Yeah, this is so fucking good.
the art in this crossover is like amazing. Adam Bryce Thomas just like kills it, and also like the coloring. I think someone put it best. They said it was like it felt like IDW's kind of color palette with like pre-boot Archie's shading. Like it really, like, I don't know, it just feels very lived in. There's a lot of use of gradients, which I really enjoy. Everyone just, I don't know, it looks so good, and a lot of the paneling like really leans into the characters and like the moment to moment action. Very, 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 very good.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. And then it's weird to think that outside of Eggman, these are the first humans we've seen in like IDW Sonic. This is weird. Like, that it took the fucking Justice League coming over for us to see humans when we've established that humans live on this planet somewhere.
Yeah.
We've run through the desolate streets of Spagonia, but we didn't see any there.
Yeah, allegedly.
But yeah, so then we cut to Silver. He's teaming up with Green Lantern. Not much to say there. They're fun. There's a cute bit where Silver's like, "Oh, so are you psychic too?" And he goes, "No, I got an alien ring. What about you?" And he goes, "No, I'm just a hedgehog."
He says, he says.
Yeah, it's cool. Then we see a mother, presumably, cowering with her child against the parademon, and then Batman and Shadow kind of tag team this parademon. I assume the implication is meant to be that Shadow like punches through this thing.
Yeah, I like the idea that Batman, he's non-lethally kicking him, and Shadow just murders him.
Yeah. And then Shadow and Batman just kind of go like, and then they run off, which is fun. And then they're like, okay, we don't have enough time to give everyone their own full page. So Amy, Tails, you Cyborg, Wonder Woman, go. Yeah. But yeah. And so they and of course Cyborg says booyah, because I'm gonna be real, I don't know if that's even a thing he says in the comics. But I know he says it in the show that everyone likes, so he's gonna say it here. But then none other but Calabac shows up, and again, for our audience who doesn't know things about DC, Calabac is the son of Darkseid. He's fun, I guess. I don't know. I haven't actually seen much with him in it, but I know of him, and I guess he's cool. Anyway, Knuckles punches him is the point. Knuckles punches him, and then he's like, "Well, you were stupid, Knuckles." And then Superman like pile drives him. It's fun because Knuckles is like, "Oh, why didn't you let me keep punching him?" And Superman's like, "Sorry."
When he like comes in from like really far away and just like nukes him.
It's great. And then, but yeah, so they're like, so the Sonic Heroes and the Justice League all converge, and we get this awesome page where the two teams are like kind of set against each other. So you just get like a cool group shot of the Sonic Heroes and a cool group shot of the Justice League. But yeah, and so then we get just character introductions, which is fun. Is there anything? Yeah, again, they continue their Sonic and Flash continue their little bantering. And then all right. And then they're like, so what's going on here? And they're like, all right, so this guy's Darkseid, he's bad. There's a weird bit where Silver goes, oh, he's got to be after the Chaos Emeralds, and Sonic goes, always with the emeralds, and he makes like a weird face. It's like, what? What?
Yeah, I don't get it, but I thought the expression was really funny, so I'll allow it.
the expression is funny. But then so they're like, basically they're like, Darkseid, he's going to different universes or multiverses, and he came here for the Chaos Emeralds, and so he's gonna use them and do bad stuff. But then it's also like, and they speculate on what he could do. He's like, oh, he could use it to kill, to destroy countless worlds, or he could use it to get the anti-life equation. Audience who does not know DC things, the anti-life equation is basically okay, well, I can't really. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a big magical. It's a mathematical formula that does bad things. He takes over the world with math. It's weird. And the point is,
it's an awesome name, by the way. The anti-life equation. That's badass.
It's pretty cool.
I'm glad that it has been said near Sonic the Hedgehog now.
It's pretty dope. But then, I do love this first issue. It's damn near perfect, but there is one shadow on it, you could say. And that's Shadow being like, this is stupid and I'm leaving. And it does. Okay. So, and I just imagine if in Sonic 06, Sonic's lying there dead and everyone's going like, oh man, what are we going to do about this? And Shadow goes, I don't have time for this. Like, what? But then Superman's like, all right, fine, dick. And Batman's like, I got this. I know this type. And there's a genuinely cool scene where Batman's like, look, it seems like you lost someone. Or he goes like, no, who was it? Like, who did you lose? Like, because that's your whole vibe. He's like, I lost my parents, and that kind of set me on this path. And Shadow tells his backstory. He's like, yeah, Maria, she fucking got shot. It was not good. Batman's like, look, man, I got to do what because my parents died, I have to do whatever I can to protect the world. And that includes, being on the Justice League. And so, we'd be valuable to whatever you're trying to do. Because I guess Shadow's plan, presumably, is just to go, punch Darkseid himself.
Yeah.
Which, hate to break it to you, Shadow, that would not go well. And he's like, look, and we'd appreciate having you. He's like, well, fine. It's not like I like you or anything, but, I guess. And, I'm glad, I guess, here's the thing. If this is the one time Shadow has to be annoying, at least we got kind of a cool, character interaction out of it. And hopefully it's out of the way for the rest of the crossover. But just God damn it, man. Like the idea of Shadow and Batman, kind of having a moment and bonding over their mutual losses is really cool. But again, I just wish it didn't have to come from Shadow being a dickhead.
Yeah, I have an overall point I will get to, so I'll come back to this.
Okay.
So that's mostly why I've been quiet on the recap, because I have a big overarching idea, but if I have anything to say as it goes, I'll bring it up. But once we get to the end, I'll go on my big spiel.
Yeah, so the team all converges back together, and they're basically and Tails is like, all right, I got a thing that'll help us track the emeralds, I think. Tracking down the emeralds. I've been developing a tracking system in my lab. Okay, so yeah, he's got a machine that can track the emeralds. And so him and Cyborg are going to go look at that, and the rest of the team are going to split up to look for the emeralds and try and find Darkseid or whatever. And so Tails, and so then we just get a series of fun one panel character interactions where Tails and Cyborg are talking to each other, and Tails is like, oh, I've been trying to make an arm cannon like yours, and he's like, well, you probably don't want all that energy going through your organs. And it's like, yeah, no, I would rather not. And then we get Superman and Knuckles. Also, I guess Knuckles can just fly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It could be that Superman's kicking up an air current, and Knuckles is gliding on that.
Believe it.
I believe that. And then we get Amy and Wonder Woman. That's fun. She's driving in.
Okay, here's where I'll interject. Man, Wonder Woman's so freaking hot. Holy crap. Her thighs. Thank you, Adam Bryce. Thank you, Wonder Woman, for just being you. That's my thought on that page. Anyway.
I mean, like, look, yes, but can we go one episode without objectifying?
No, it's Wonder Woman. That would be disrespectful. That would be rude.
Fair enough. Also, just I'll quickly interject. Any of you who aren't reading Absolute Wonder Woman, you're fucking cowards, and that comic is amazing, and you should go read it. Wonder Woman is like a witch, and she has like glowing red eyes and like a robot arm sometimes. It's really cool. Go read it. Anyway, but yeah, so we see that. We see Shadow and Batman driving on their respective motorcycles. I will say, I'll interject this here. I was really worried about the Shadow and Batman team up when they first showed up, because I was like, oh, great. So what I thought was, we're going to see my least favorite version of Shadow and my least favorite version of Batman team up. And what I mean by my least favorite version of Batman is the Batman who's like IDW Shadow.
Yeah.
Batman who's just the Arkham Batman. I'm going to say it. You know what? I'm going to say what you cowards are too cowardly to say. Arkham Batman is fucking shit. He's just a jerk, and he treats everyone around him terribly. Like, you're a fucking superhero. You're supposed to be like a symbol of like integrity and hope. Get your head out of your ass, Arkham Batman. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And I thought that was the Batman we were gonna get here, but so far he seems like a nice guy, which is good.
Yeah, he seems good.
But anyway, and then we get again Tails and Cyborg looking at the. Wait, why do Tails and Cyborg get two of these panels? That's bullshit.
Cyborg's the best character in this issue because he actually gets like the funniest expression in the whole thing, which is when Tails is like, or he's like, oh, like I'm from the, says something about, oh yeah, Tails says like he made something. It just cuts to Cyborg. He's like, I've got to see this, and he has like the most like trolly face I've ever seen. I was like, all right, I like you.
It is cool. And Silver is talking to Green Lantern.
He's like, whoa, it's like you have my powers, but better.
Yeah. Although I do like, I do hope they come back to this with Silver, this idea of like the willpower being what gives Green Lantern his strength. You know, that feels like it could be setting up a cool character moment for Silver later.
For sure.
Well, I guess we've seen from the solicitations that like the Sonic characters are going to dress up as the Justice League at some point. Yeah. So whatever way that takes form, maybe like Silver has to like, conjure the strength to like actually use a lantern ring. That'd be cool. We will see.
For sure.
And then Sonic and Flash just get a really cool panel of them running across water. And of course we get a little thing where Flash is like, so this is just what you are. You don't have like an origin story. And Sonic's like, nah, I'm just a hedgehog who loves adventure. Which is fun. But then, of course, we have to go to Green Hill, which is where Darkseid is. And Darkseid says, it all starts with this, a gem containing the ultimate power. Obviously, Darkseid's a fake fan because it's a jewel containing the ultimate power, but whatever.
There you go.
Yeah, this was great. I love this. I love this comic so much. Yeah, Ian, be a Debbie Downer.
And I wanted to say one, because this had nothing to do with anything, so I wanted to bring up. So, earlier, when Sonic is introducing his pals, he says, this is Amy, my long-term bestie. I love that is how we have to work around the idea that she is his girlfriend. like it's not even like lifelong friend or like a long-term bestie. That
well, because Sonic knows what's going on.
It's just so funny how Flynn has to like work around this idea, this like stupid idea of like, oh, they're like totally together, but they won't say it. But they do go on dates. They like eat lunch all the time, and it's like official, but it's not. It's like, what does it mean?
It means that I can still huff copium and no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah. But all right, so now let me bitch. All right, cool. So I liked this. I would give it like a 5. It is fine. But here are the two sides of things. So obviously the coolest thing about crossovers like this, in any crossover, is the novelty. And I don't even mean that as like an insult of like, oh, it's just neat that Wonder Woman and Knuckles shared a panel. That's cool. That like this, that the fact that this is like there is something to something being official, like that these two evil corporations sat down in a room and they said, you know what, we're going to do this thing. And then obviously the passionate fans who make it end up like bringing it to life. And obviously there's, people in those corporations who care too, blah, 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 blah. Regardless, seeing like Wonder Woman and Knuckles like have a conversation and they're just standing next to each other in these like clashing kind of like styles and character designs, that's really cool. And I really like all the stuff about like Sonic, obviously he's going to have like a racing contest with the Flash, and you have like Superman and he's just being a nice guy, and then you have Batman interacting with Shadow and all those things, and I like all those things. I generally like all those things. I think it's funny when like Amy is like driving her stupid little car, and Wonder Woman's like, oh, it is good that you've learned how to drive. I enjoy driving the invisible jet, and she's like, wow, and she's like, you can fly, and it's like like that's fun. I like that stuff. I like again, I really like Cyborg. I like his like him and Green Lantern have really funny reactions to like to the characters where they just can't believe what they're saying. I think that's really funny. I think that grounds the story. And I even like Darkseid being like, behold, the jewel of ultimate power. I think that's fun. I think that's like a fun use of like doing like references and stuff, and like having because it's not a Sonic character saying that. It's not Sonic just being like, it's like, oh, what do we have Sonic say in this scenario where he's talking to Flash? I don't know. Instead of coming up with a new line or like a new thing, he just says the thing from Sonic Adventure. And that's pretty good. It's like, oh, sure. But like when Darkseid said it, that's funny. I like that idea. That's absurd wackiness I want. So I like the novelty of the story. The art is also fantastic. I love how the art looks. They very much want to show you the characters. Like they're not hiding them, or like, and by hiding them, I mean like they're not using like far away shots too often to like it's like, oh, I don't want to have to draw like how detailed all these human characters look. No, they're like standing side by side the Sonic characters, which is what you want. These are like absurd, awesome looking images. And then also the paneling's quite good, where there's a flow to it. Like there's like you can always see like when a flying character's kind of coming into the screen, which there's a lot of these flying characters. And then so like when Superman comes in to save like Knuckles, and he fights like the son of Darkseid or whatever, like you can see him coming in from really far away, and like you feel the impact. Or like when Sonic and Flash are going around a loop-de-loop, which is really fun. I want to see Sonic and Flash go around a loop-de-loop. But then you see Silver and Green Lantern, you see their little glows, and then we cut to their scene. And like you said, there's a really clever thing of like, we're going to go see Knuckles, and then we cut to Knuckles, and you think, oh, Sonic saved Knuckles because the blue streak, comes by. But no, it was actually Superman. That's really cool, So a lot of that, all that stuff, I really quite like. The biggest thing that I can say about this story, and this is just more so like for now, because if what this first issue was trying to do is just be like fun, like get all the fan service out of the way, because immediately Flynn does what you would want. He has Shadow interact with Batman. He has them fight some guy together. He has Sonic and Flash hang out. Like he has all the characters who you would expect to hang out and like do their shticks, right? Do the one-liners you would want to see. There's even some power scaling stuff, right? Where it's like Sonic's like, oh, I killed this many parademons and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, who's faster? Who's what's going on? Oh, Superman and Knuckles and all that stuff. So that stuff is all cool. That's all fun. And if the comic becomes more than that, then that's great. And I think it will, because it's going to go on for a really long time. My worry is that when we do these little live streams, audience, I'm the one who makes like the stream. And then I put like a little title, and I'll just put something funny to like make, Ace laugh, or I'll put like a little, a goofy way to describe, whatever we're talking about. So for this one, I titled it Babysitting Arc. Mm-hmm. And he was confused. He didn't know what I meant. And I'll tell you why, because I'm not a huge DC guy. I like Batman a lot. Batman's cool. I'll watch Batman in anything. Any other character, you kind of have to tell me like, this is a really good Superman story. And I don't adore Superman or anything, so I'll just be like, oh, it's probably a good story. And then through that, I go, oh, this is why people like Superman. Batman's kind of the only character who I'm just here because it's Batman, and I love Batman, and I'll do anything Batman. And even then, I'm not that big of a Batman guy. It's just that he's the most normie superhero I could like, right? Mm-hmm. And so all these other guys, I don't know anything about them really. I'd never really watched Teen Titans as a kid. I'm sure these characters are a lot different too. Okay, cool. The thing I walked away, so I'm a big Sonic guy. I'm here for Sonic fan service. So the thing I left from this issue was, man, I feel so bad for the DC cast that they have to hang out with my shitty Sonic characters, because all of that happens in this story that it proves is that the Sonic characters are nothing. They have nothing to them. While the DC characters are talking about like, oh man, I had this happen in my body. I had this happen in my past. I had this thing. Superman is talking to Knuckles about how like he apparently told him like his backstory and stuff. And Knuckles, instead of being like, man, that reminds me of like Sonic Adventure, which is canon and Sega does allow to exist. But I'm guessing they wouldn't allow to talk about this. Man, that kind of reminds me of My Home. I sure hope maybe he wanders off. And then Superman, because Superman's about like hope and life and stuff. He looks at Superman and he goes, hey, don't you worry, buddy. We're going to get your home right back up in the sky. Don't you worry. And it's like, oh man, Superman's so cool. And that could be like a thing for Knuckles too. Or like he thinks he's losing his home and maybe he's abandoning his home and the people who live there. But no, what do we get for Superman and Knuckles? They fly next to each other, and he goes, "Wow, that's crazy, Soups. Cow a bummer." You know, like that is all that happens, and literally babysitting. Shadow, every time he is in this comic, he has to be convinced that teamwork is not like good, but just that it's useful. The man who works on Team Dark and works for the government multiple times, and currently does that in Shadow Generations and Shadow Dark Beginnings. He knows what working together does. He is a baby. He is a fucking toddler. And in this story, Batman literally has to be like, Superman, don't worry, I got this guy. Hey, you okay, man? Do you need like a cookie? Do you need to air out your feelings? It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be our friends, but working together, it can like do the thing you want to do. And Superman, he goes, well, I mean, I guess if that's how it has to work. And it's because he's a fucking toddler. Because Shadow is not a character anymore. He is nobody. So what does Sonic do in this story? Sonic is running with the Flash. And Flash talks about how like, oh man, you're all natural. That's really interesting. That Flash is a character who like his stuff comes from like experiments, and a lot of these characters do, except for like Superman and Wonder Woman, and that's the contrast and stuff. And what does Sonic have to say? What does Sonic the Hedgehog as a character? If you're reading this and you know nothing about Sonic, what does he have to say? Well, fuck you, I'm fast. And it's like, wow. Like if I read this and I didn't know anything about Sonic, I would just be like, oh, okay, so this is for like my baby cousin. Like he likes Sonic. He'll probably enjoy this because the Sonic characters have nothing. What does Amy have to talk to Wonder Woman about? Nothing. She has to say that she has a car in Sega All-Stars Racing. That's it. What does Tails have to say to Cyborg? Oh man, I make stuff sometimes. And he goes, oh man, that reminds me of the fact that like mine is like mutated into my body. I have to deal with that every day. And he goes, cow a bummer. I don't want that because the characters, they're nothing. And then we get to like the fact that you have like, oh, Knuckles is like fighting like Darkseid's son or whatever. And again, I don't care about power scaling. I don't care about any of that shit. But again, it just feels like babysitting because they're seriously trying to tell me that like Knuckles comes in. It's like, oh yeah, Knuckles, you softened that guy up for me. Good. Like that's what it feels like. It's like he's talking down to a baby. Like, oh, good guy, little man. You're so strong. And then you have the Flash. Flash is fucking insanely fast. And so he's just like, oh man, Sonic, you're definitely like, the Flash is a guy. He's like an adult who has like duties and responsibilities. He works at Central City. So when he's like talking to Sonic and being like, oh yeah, Sonic, we're gonna have these races, it feels like he's talking to a toddler because Sonic's a toddler. He has nothing to do. He has nothing to add. So like this whole story just completely proves to me that the IDW cast, the Sonic cast, are fucking vapid characters who have nothing to add. And then you have the DC cast who have full histories, full backstories, full things they can say in this comic, and they can't do anything to bounce off these tiny little tykes who they have to babysit. So that's what I mean. This whole story is just babysitting. It just shows me that the Sonic characters have nothing to add other than vapid fucking fan service, which I like. I like the fan service. But if that's all there is, if there's nothing to build upon, then why are we here? That's my rant. There you go. Vote for me for president.
Here's the thing. You're right. Everything you just said is completely right. Two things. First of all, I've accepted that. I mean, I have accepted that these are not characters. Which, like, maybe that says something about me. I don't know. But it's like, look, I know what I'm getting. I've accepted it. I might as well. Yeah, like, I'm here. I walked through the fucking rain to get this comic. I might as well, accept it for what it is. And for G, I guess I just didn't care. Like, it was just cool.
No, that's
fun.
Fine. I liked it too. I thought it was fun, but it just made me so mad because I'm like, I feel so bad for the Justice League.
Oh yeah,
they have nothing to work off of.
Yeah. I mean, the big hope would be that maybe, possibly, there's a bit more down the line.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think everything I just said. I just want to get the rant out now because I want to be proven wrong. I want it to be that like the Sonic characters see how cool the Justice League are, and that like does something to them. Like maybe Shadow's like, holy shit, Batman was right. Like you need teamwork and friends and stuff. Or just like like Sonic is like, oh wow, like Barry's like a real hero. And the reason I say that,
Wally, you fake fan.
Yeah, sorry, Wally. So the solicitations talk about. I mean, we know like they dress up like the Justice League, right? The solicitations talk about the idea of like Sonic and Co. needing to like help the Justice League. I won't go into any more spoilers than that from what it said, just that they have to help them, and that's why they're kind of dressed up, right? So I hope that the idea is that the Sonic characters kind of see like the value in the Justice League, and then the Justice League will come to see something from the Sonic cast. I don't know what you could get from these guys because they're nothing. But if Flynn could dig into that, if they could dig into the idea of like maybe because Sonic talks about how like we just kind of do what we feel is right. And the Justice League are kind of more about like organization. Maybe that could come into conflict where they kind of see like, oh, maybe we do kind of want to be more like Sonic's gang where we just kind of live freely or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that would be something the Justice League could learn or it could help them lighten up or something. That's kind of what they did with Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of help Batman to lighten up and interact with his son a little more. Because I think they were using Damian at the time, and that's really fun. That's using the characters to help each other. So I hope they do something like that, and I think they will, because this comic's going to go on for like over a year. Because they said it was going to go into 2026. So
well, they said like the collaboration was there's. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Here, let me look at my issue real quick. I think there's only going to be 5 issues of this.
Well, they said the collaboration's going into 2026. So I feel like there's got to be more they're doing.
I assume it's going to be like toys and stuff, though, right? Probably.
Well, maybe like they'll do like spin-offs, like different things. I don't know.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I hope it's something big. I really do hope that like there is some value to this outside of novelty, because I like the novelty, but I would just love there to be something more, because I also reread the first issue of the Mega Man crossover, and in the Mega Man crossover, it presumes that the Sonic games and the Mega Man games. It uses Archie as the through line for Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman, but it does not it still builds it on the idea that this is like game Sonic and game Mega Man. And that story immediately dives into just so much like fun with like the characters of like Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman's egos, how like the comedy you can get out of that, but how much they kind of like each other and how much they work together and stuff. And then you have stuff with Tails and turning him into a robot master. Like there's so much done in that first issue that combines things. And the thing I want from this crossover is something like the Ragnarok. If that is something Flynn came up with of like, let's make a Death Egg, but it's like Darkseid's head, we're going to call it the Ragnarok. That is great. That is exactly what I want in this crossover. And if he does more stuff like that, more like fun things, and like gets the characters to have more interactions, because he's done the basic interactions, the one we all expected, right? Sonic and the Flash, Batman and the Shadow. If he does more than that, if he mixes and matches the characters, if he gives them more depth and more meaning, then I will take all of this back, basically. But from what I'm seeing now, this is just more of like my inner fear screaming out. So for this issue alone, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I think basically like if the stuff I talk about gets resolved, then I would like probably bump it up to like a 6 or 7. But if this is what it is, if it is just when Sonic goes down his list of friends and he says, this is Silver, he's from the future. That's it. If that's really what these characters are by the end of it, this is Tails. He's my best friend. And he makes gadgets. If that's all we get, then I think this crossover will be an unfortunate, not waste of time, but it will be a whole lot of missed potential, is what I would say.
I will say, if we do not get any, if Eggman does not interact with Lex Luthor at some point, I will riot.
Absolutely.
That's a golden opportunity right there. Can you imagine those two interacting? That'd be great. But anyway, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I just look, here's the thing. Unfortunate stories aside, I should say that entire story at the beginning of this episode is true, by the way, audience. That was not a joke. That all of that happened to me.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not glad that happened, but I am glad that I got the issue physically and that was my first exposure to it, because I really did feel like a kid again reading this. I really felt just the excitement of like two of my favorite things getting smashed together. The artwork's great. Again, getting to feel it and turn the pages, and again, reading it like I would read a comic when I was 12. I don't know. I loved this. I completely get and even agree with everything you said, Ian. And I think part of it is because when I look at this issue, I see the hook. I see
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I see the fan, this is the fan service. This is what you fucking plebs want, right? It's like smooth Sonic racing the Flash or whatever. It's like, yes, I do want that. Thank you. So it's like, and if it's to get you in, and then we'll carry on from there. And I am hooked. I want the rest of this right now. I'm annoyed that I have to wait another month for this, but no, I adored this.
Heck yeah.
But I completely see why one would not though, especially since
Again,
you're
I
not a
did like it.
DC fan.
Those are just my fears screaming from my heart.
That's fair. That's fair.
I would. I mean, I would say the only actual issue with the issue would be like the shadow section, like you said, or it's just kind of annoying that it's like, yeah, we're doing this again. But even then, I like the idea of it, and the art's fantastic. Like the way like Shadow is standing in Batman's shadow. Whoa, crazy. I love it. I love all that stuff. So definitely understand the hype because it just looks incredible. So please more.
Yes. Also, before we close out, because somehow we've been talking for 45 goddamn minutes.
I told you.
The logo is hilarious because it's DC and Sonic, and then they're like, okay, but it's X. And so for the X, we're gonna do something cool. So for the DC side of the X, it's Flash's lightning bolt, right? For Sonic side of the X, it's blue. I mean, I guess we could do like a blue line.
Yeah.
So I just find that funny. Anyway, but yeah, Ian, plug.
Ian Waffles. You can find me at Ian Waffles at Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for having me as always.
Of course, I'm here again. Just play the roulette with whether or not any Silver Ace 01 you see online is me or not. That's fine. But yeah, we will be back next month.
Don't trust any links. That's not him.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, we'll be back next month for the next issue of this. But after but before that, we'll be back with our regularly scheduled Sonic Comic Chaos. So look forward to that. The next one you all should be seeing is IDW. Yeah, IDW. That'll be the next one. And yeah, this is probably coming out on like a Friday or something. So I guess enjoy your weekend. But until next time, take care, everyone.
Bye.